This is my digital story on how ADHD helped me become a teacher. In the midst of the COVID-19 global pandemic, when I was 14 years old, I was diagnosed with Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder, or ADHD. I had previously been struggling with anxiety and PTSD, which ultimately led to my diagnosis, as my therapist was noticing additional symptoms that weren't always consistent with the two. I was struggling in school, having difficulty in my social life, and was overall in a constant state of feeling overwhelmed. I felt like I could never rest. I was confused at first with this diagnosis, as I often associated ADHD with being mainly hyper, which I wasn't. They explained to me that a likely reason I was diagnosed late, at 14, when many people are diagnosed earlier, is because of the significant differences of symptoms in boys and girls. The symptoms in girls are much harder to identify than boys, and many girls go undiagnosed for years and even decades. As soon as my doctor began going over my symptoms with me, lack of focus, disorganization, struggling to begin and/or finish tasks, daydreaming, restfulness, just to name a few, I began to realize how long I had been living with ADHD without even realizing it. For so long, I struggled in school and had no idea why. My parents and teachers often got frustrated with my inability to focus, recall information, as well as my disorganization. It wasn't until my senior year of high school that I had a teacher that truly listened to me and helped me work with my ADHD rather than viewing it as an ailment. With the help of my teacher, I was able to develop a routine that helped me succeed in school, and it wasn't an easy road, but with the help I needed from him and my therapist, I slowly began doing better as a student. Studying and turning in assignments on time while doing them efficiently came so much easier, and I saw an improvement in so many parts of my life. I was able to focus more and fully understand the concepts that were being taught, which was huge for me. For the first time, I started to feel like a good student. With proper treatment, I gained confidence back as well, and rekindled a passion for education that was lost in the process. After all this progress since my diagnosis, I began to fall in love with the idea of teaching again. All of a sudden, I was the same 5-year-old girl who would line up her stuffed animals to teach using my picture books as my lesson plans. I now know that I want to be a voice and advocate for students that may be struggling in silence like I was. Creating a safe environment where students feel loved and accepted is very important to me. I'm very grateful that from working with and learning from my ADHD, I have once again been inspired to help shape and fight for a new generation of students so they can get the education that they deserve. I hope to draw from my own experiences to help my students feel encouraged in their learning, because I didn't always feel that way. Growing up, I always felt insecure in a classroom, and it made me dread going to school every day. However, I've learned so much about myself throughout this journey, and it's led me to see my full potential, which is what I want for my students to see in themselves as well. If I can make a difference in at least one student's life, I know I've made my younger self proud, knowing other students feel empowered, included, and safe in the classroom.